It's the Bruins Benders podcast, and it's season 3, episode 14. We were on a break with Maddie and Smitty, brought to you on the Inside the Rink podcast network. InsideTheRink.com is your one-stop shop for all your NHL, ECHL news, insight, analysis. Follow on X at inside_the_rink. Download the Inside the Rink app for extensive Bruins coverage. Watch it on YouTube, and if you are right now, thank you, and hit the subscribe button. Smitty's going to tell you how to sign up for ESPN Plus.
Sign up for ESPN Plus at insidetherink.com/ESPN and sign up today. Do it today, for crying out loud. Why not? I have ESPN Plus. I love all the college sports, UFC, and NHL hockey. So sign up for ESPN Plus at insidetherink.com/ESPN today so you don't miss any of that NHL action.
Not at all. So Happy New Year. Are you just as irritated with people when they say Happy New Year's?
Yes.
Happy New Year's. What is that?
It drives me out of my mind.
Yeah. Happy New Year's, everybody.
No, we should gather all these people together. Those people and the people that say lose but spell it L-O-O-S-E.
Yeah.
Loose.
Right. Or
that is not the same word.
Or call
not
it
at all.
Valentine's
Day. Yeah. Let's gather all these people together and we'll put them on Christmas Island somewhere in the middle of the ocean. And just leave them all to congratulate each other and say the wrong things to each other over and over again in their own personal hell.
It may be called a speech impediment.
Wow, come on.
No, it isn't.
Oh,
it's
come
called,
on. That's
called dumbness.
Yeah, that's called just not knowing the proper word. Because supposedly it's wrong. That's right. Yeah, so it's New Year, a brand new year. And the Bruins are back in the first place in the Atlantic Division after we took a quick hiatus. They played all sorts of games, started slowly, but after the first of the year, after that little break they had of 4 days, they got it going on.
Yeah, a little Christmas break did them a lot of good. A little Christmas break, does everybody a little get away from it, get away from the hockey, get away from all the bad vibes. People are having some, trouble. Not great years, all those kind of things, and just regroup, relax, regenerate, and then they came out strong after the Christmas holiday.
Before it, as we go to the rapid review on 12/22, they had their worst game of the year, and that was at Winnipeg, 5-1 loss. It was downright awful.
It was. It was hard to watch. It really was. It was like they couldn't do anything right. They just got dominated, outshot dramatically. I mean, it was just a bad effort, and they looked tired and ready for the break.
Absolutely. And then the very next night at Minnesota lost 3-2. That was their fourth in a row heading into the break. And Minnesota again gets them a team that they don't typically match. They aren't really matching up well with, the Minnesota Wild, and they lose that one 3-2. And then they have the break. So that was much needed. Montgomery talked about it. Some of the players talked about it. They needed to reset, and they did. And a perfect opponent coming out of it, a team that they've dominated. Other than one loss earlier this year, they've dominated them for the last 3 years. The Buffalo Sabres in Buffalo, 4-1 win.
Yeah, they took it to them. Nice road win against a team that they needed to beat coming out of the break, because like you said, they've dominated them recently. 3 for 4 on the power play was a really nice sign too. Got things going that way, and their defensive game kind of came back. The details defensively were much better than they were before the break.
Yeah, for sure. And then they come home against the New Jersey Devils on 12/30, a game that I attended, first one in 6 years for me at TD Garden. Spent all of my life savings and we'll have to skip this year's mortgage. But hey, went to the game anyway. 5-2 win. This was a 2-0 deficit early, and then a great second period where they have 4 goals. They really find their game again. It was a good, Saturday night crowd, the whole thing against a good Devils team, and the Bruins get a nice win, really, 5-2.
Yeah, they seem to do pretty well against the Devils, even though I think the Devils' speed can really give them problems at times. but the Bruins somehow seem to kind of find a way to manage that and usually come out on top in the games against New Jersey. Even though Jack Hughes beat them in overtime earlier this year, they seem to do pretty well against Jersey, and it was nice to see. I think Jersey's goaltending may be an Achilles heel for them this year.
Yeah, and I had them winning the cup, I believe, in my early season predictions. Really thought highly of them, and I still do. But like you said, the goaltending might be something, if they can't address it at the deadline, it might be something that leads to their downfall. The very next night, speaking of Achilles heels, the Detroit Red Wings are a team that has had the Bruins number, the only team in the league really that has had the Bruins number. And on New Year's Eve, the Bruins go there in the second night of a back-to-back, play a physical, nasty game, and win 5-3 in a game that I thought might bode well as far as this team being a little different, or at least recognizing that they have to be different this season.
I agree 100%. I think it was a physical, nasty game. It was the second night of a back-to-back. It was an early start. It was a 5 o'clock start here on the East Coast. So a lot of things going against them in this game, and they somehow found the energy and the ability to battle Detroit. They had a couple of rough calls. Detroit, I think, had 6 power plays. Boston only had 2. There was a controversial goal scored that allowed Detroit to tie it at 2 with Michael Rasmussen in the crease there and waving his stick in front of Swayman's face like Sean Avery, and then hits his glove, and somehow, because he was outside the crease, according to the NHL, that's allowed. So you can just whack the goalie in the glove outside the crease, and that's perfectly fine. So
right.
I think Swayman's just start cross-checking people in the back and giving them some, cup checks, little stick lift into the groin area. If they're gonna allow this stuff, then allow it. Let's just have everybody slash everybody, and it'll be a great big fun for the entire family.
Well, that game was 2-0 Boston, and I'm second margarita deep at margaritas.
Sure.
And I look up and it's 2-2. It's New Year's Eve after all. It's 2-2 all of a sudden. I'm like, what just happened?
Yeah.
And then they end up winning it. But I thought when they tied it at 2, I'm like, here we go. Another loss to Detroit. Another, a second night of a back-to-back. They won't have the energy to do it, the whole thing. And they really gutted it out. And like you said, it was a good character win. It was just a good sign that maybe the team, this team might be a little different when it comes to that whole pushback thing, especially in a physical game.
And after the adversity, they scored the next 3. So they went, Detroit ties at 2-2, and then Boston scores the next 3, go up 5-2, and then Detroit gets one late because they got like 4,000 power play. I mean, the officiating in that game was horrendous.
I just don't understand the whole officiating across the board in every league seems to be just as bad as ever. And I don't know what the problem is. And here's what I think the problem might be. I think review made the officiating 100% worse.
I agree with you 100%.
Yeah, because I think there's this fallback plan
right
with the review. And not only that, they've made the rules as such that they put so much language in all these different types of rules that it almost makes it more complicated. It's either, they've tried to take it away from the referees, and now I think there's just I don't think there's a lot of accountability. I think we'll go to the review and see what happens, but then they screw up the reviews too.
Well,
they screw them up.
So that review in the Detroit game, I don't care what it is. I don't care if it was the JFK assassination. That review took over 5 minutes.
Yeah, 5 minutes. Yeah.
So, I mean, that should never happen on a review, no matter what it is.
Whatever happened to if of the inconclusive thing? Like, it seems to be that's not a thing anymore. Like, we're looking to to circumcise the mosquito on there and try to get a definitive answer. What happened to it's inconclusive? So literally, it should be a minute. You can tell if it's inconclusive within a minute. Like, it's just, and then let's just move on.
They literally should have a thing on the video thing that the referees are watching on the iPad or whatever it is they're using to watch the thing. It counts down from a minute or a minute 30, And when you hit that thing, the thing turns off. You got to make a fucking
You're
decision.
right. It's off. Yeah, it's off.
There you
Right.
go.
It's
Do
like
it.
the porn
Done.
in
Let's go.
Amsterdam. You
Yeah.
throw the 50
Yeah.
cents in.
Yeah, put a couple quarters in,
Right.
and then when the time runs out, it runs out.
When the
If you're not,
Funani's gone, you're
Yeah.
fucking, that's
if
it.
you're
It's
not
over.
to, if you're not to
Put more
complete,
quarters in.
that's your own fault.
Right.
At that
Yeah,
point.
put more quarters in.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's exactly what it should be. I mean, enough. Okay. January 2nd at Columbus. A 4-1 win. Columbus is depleted. Not very good anyway. Depleted as hell against a team that you should beat, and they did. 4-game win streak now coming out of the Christmas break and feeling pretty good heading into the game against Pittsburgh at home.
Yeah, like I said, a nice win against the team you should beat, and they extend the win streak, and they're playing good defense here. They give up 1, 2, and 1 against their last 3 opponents or whatever. 3 against Detroit, but 1 late. So, but playing better defense, and that's really the details and what you want to see, and getting some secondary scoring from some other guys that you wouldn't expect.
Sure. All right. So 7 Chirps, sponsored by Lops Brewing. Lops are brewing and tasting room in downtown Woonsocket, Rhode Island, specializing in small batch ales and lagers. You can use the code SPORTS for 10% off your order at lopsbrewing.com. Also follow them at Lops Brewing on social media for new beers and events. I also have that Bar Down New England IPA that's absolutely delicious. And Chirp number 1. Speak of the devil, you spoke of the defense, and Mason Lohrei has been a factor in his second stint. Looks a lot better. Could he stay? Should he stay the rest of the year?
I think so. I mean, if his mouth is all right, he took a puck to the mouth in the game in Columbus, and I think he lost maybe all of his teeth.
Yeah,
all of his
he
blood.
lost one. He lost one, like glaring one. I saw a picture
Yeah.
of him. He lost like the big front one. See ya.
Yeah. So he was like just gauze and blood by the end of that one. So I think they didn't say he was at practice today. He might have been in the dentist chair all day today, or they gave him a little time off or whatever. But I think he should stay the rest of the year. He's chipping in offensively. He looks more sure of himself, more confident in the things that he's doing back there. He's not making the same kind of terrible turnovers that he was making in his first stint. He's positionally, I think, a lot better than he was the first time around. He's on the right side of the puck more than he was the first time around. So a lot of improvement. And if that's the case, I think he should be here. We've said it all along that he really needs to kind of learn trial by fire at the NHL level. It's just better for his development, I think, if he's learning at this level rather than the AHL level.
Yeah. And he wasn't there today. It was a noon practice. I think he did have some dental work done. It was Grzelcyk, McAvoy, Lindholm, Carlo, and Wotherspoon and Shattenkirk. And Wotherspoon's been a nice little pleasant surprise for them. I mean, he's actually, and you mentioned it on X in a tweet or whatever they call those things now. But Wotherspoon has been a good, steady player for them, and added a little bit of bite too. And he's been pretty good, a good little fill-in guy.
I think he has been. I think he's been really good, and I think he gives you everything that Derek Forbort gives you with better skating.
Yeah.
I mean, I mentioned the offensively, and someone was like, "Oh, you could have stopped with the skating part," and it's true because he's not exactly Cale Makar out there.
No.
But he is a better skating version of Derek Forbort, and if he can give you all the other things, the physicality, the shot blocking, with the better skating, I think that just adds to your decor. So if he's going to be like the 7th, 8th guy, that puts the Bruins in a pretty good position.
Well, if someone becomes expendable, I mean, look, if Lohrei can do it, if Wotherspoon can hang in, if Mitchell can give you something for in an emergency, and then you got Forbort and Grzelcyk, you got too many guys, so especially on the left side. So what are you doing there? You gotta move someone, and some of those guys are up at the end of the year, if not most of them, other than Lohrei. So you got to do something there, and to hang on to all those guys, I don't know if that's absolutely necessary. Especially if you could add a piece or do something, add a pick or something
Yeah, I
to
mean,
our next year.
to me, it's Forbort and Grizzlick are the guys that you look to deal because
Right.
Wotherspoon, you're not going to get anything for him anyways, and he's more of a depth guy. But then you have Low Ryan Lindholm. Are you going to be your mainstays on the left side? So then it comes down to Forbort and Grizzlick, and I think both of those guys, potentially could have a little bit of value, whether it's a pick or adding them in with another piece or another pick to get something. Maybe you need some secondary scoring help, or you use one of those guys in a bigger package to maybe land something a little bit bigger. But there is some thing. I wouldn't mind seeing them get a right shot D for a little bit of depth, because they do seem a little thin there after McAvoy and Carlo. It's like Shattenkirk's been really good, especially lately. But behind that, if somebody gets hurt, you're talking about a guy maybe playing as offside, or it's Mitchell. I'm not particularly sold on him, so I wouldn't mind seeing them grab a piece for the right side. But there's some options there now with some of these guys playing well. At the time.
Maybe you could get Radko Gudas. Maybe you could get Gudas.
I wouldn't mind his snarl come playoff time. I'll tell you.
Yeah, I wouldn't
as
mind
much as I can't stand the guy, and I think he's awful. They could use his physicality for sure.
Yeah, 100%. All right, Chirp 2 is Trent Frederick with 10 goals now, 4th on the team in goals. This is what you call the Bruins Benders reverse curse. We were wrong about this fella. He's having a great year. He's become a better skater. He is playing 13 and change per game now, by 2 minutes more than typical in his average ice time. He's been a real factor. And how about a couple of snipes in the last couple of games there? The backhand snipe short side where he ran over Alex Lyon.
Yeah.
And then the pass from JVR where he sniped it on the across the grain there.
Across the grain, yeah.
Jesus. I mean, Freddie, he was my whipping boy. I thought he wasn't good enough to be in the league. The league.
Yeah.
Shows you what I know.
He might be.
I mean,
he was drafted to be. Wow.
Well, yeah. I mean, that draft sucked. If you look back at that draft, that there was really not a lot of other. There were a couple, like DeBrincat, I think was one of them. And maybe another one or two, but
there were a few guys
really thin,
but not many. I mean, there were guys before him, but not many after him.
Not many.
So,
not many.
Can't blame the Bruins for the guys that were picked before Frederick. But there wasn't much there. And I tell you, he's worked on his game. I mean, his skating has gotten better every year. That was our main concern, was that he wasn't going to be able to keep up with the NHL pace, and he has. And he's gotten much better at protecting the puck. He's using his frame. He's hitting more now. He's picking his spots as far as fighting goes. After he scored the goal, that Patrick Kane short side top shelf backhand snipe, he challenged Alex Chasen to a fight immediately after he scored.
He did. He's like, "You want to go?"
Yeah, he's like, "You want to go?" Because I think Jason was, mad that he ran over Lyon, even though Lyon kind of slid out of the net into his path.
Oh my God, he did. Yeah, way out.
It was Ben Sherratt that he challenged.
Oh, Ben Sherratt.
Oh, Sherratt. Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah. So it just he's got kind of the confidence now, and things are going his way, and it's really good to see that he's kind of blossomed into what he's been, and as much as we say Coyle's the perfect third line guy for this team, that might be Frederick now, because Coyle's kind of elevated his game too.
Sure.
So maybe Coyle's your 2C, and Freddie, is your third C, even though he's played, maybe a little more wing up until recently, but coming into his own here, and they could certainly use the secondary scoring help.
Freddie is now a friggin' steal at 1.8, whatever he is, or 1 point, I don't know what, 2.8 or whatever it is for the 2 years. I mean, it's a steal now. I mean, it makes less than $2 million a year.
Yeah.
I mean, it's and he's been good, and I was wrong. I thought he was headed for just being out of the league, because I just didn't think he was good enough at all to play, and he wasn't doing. Also, he wasn't doing what he needed to do. Like, he wasn't being the pugilistic,
Right.
tough guy. He was picking the wrong times to do it. He was just
Mhm.
caught in between what type of player I think he thought he should be. And now I think he's found the groove, and that's great. All right, chirp 3, yay or nay time. Yay
Okay.
or nay on Tyler Johnson.
I'm gonna say nay, even though I really liked his game a few years ago. I think
For sure.
he's,
Yeah.
kind of cashed. He's a smallish guy, so I'm gonna say nay, even though I still think he's got some ability. I'm just not sure exactly where he would fit on this team currently. I think you have guys, Merkulov, Lysell, that you could give a chance to that maybe have a similar skill set, not with his pedigree, obviously, and Stanley Cup experience, but I don't know if I would be going out of my way to make a deal like that unless it's something relatively cheap. If you're saying 5th round pick, yeah, sure, I'm in. But I think
you probably can get him for something like that. He has 9 goals. He has 3 in his last 5 games. He's 5'8", 185. He's 33. Like you said, he was a real factor at Tampa Bay. Like, he was a good player for them.
Very
like a
good player.
legitimately good player.
Yeah.
He had 29 goals in 18-19. I mean, he was a good goal-scoring winger. He had 12 goals last season for the Blackhawks. He has 9 goals and 4 assists in 35 games right now for Chicago. Been hot lately. I'm kind of with you. Like, I think it would be, he could be a good low cost, low risk, high reward guy if you really were in a bind. You couldn't make a deal for like another scoring ish type of winger.
Right.
And you wanted to put him in there behind Pastrnak, like on the second line, move DeBrusque to his natural wing, maybe something like that. Then maybe, that could with Coyle and like maybe Coyle, DeBrusque and Johnson kind of thing or something that might work. But I'd like to get him, obviously like to get something better, especially not only for now, but maybe something with term too, like you could move on with too, for offensive capability.
I think that's Sweeney's MO usually when it comes to trying to make a trade for somebody, is to try to get somebody with term that they can control rather than getting a rental that you just lose. I mean, last year they did the rental route and went for it, and it didn't turn out so hot.
Right.
So usually he likes to get guys with term left so that he can, win the trade, I suppose.
Right. Or knows he can extend like Zacha or Hall or, those types of guys.
Coyle, yeah.
All right. Chirp 4, Jake DeBrusque. Curse is broken. Out of the Christmas break, 6 points in 4 games. I'll tell you what, I said, I tried to break the voodoo.
Yeah.
And I used it, but what I had to do is take drastic measures and get to the game.
You did.
So that he could score.
Yeah.
And finally bust that thing open. And he has 6 points in 4 games. Prior to that, 6 points in 21 games.
Yeah.
I'm just doing God's work over here.
You really are. You really are.
Right.
I mean, if it wasn't for you, Jake DeBrusque would still be in a tailspin right now.
Right.
So
yes,
you and you alone are the only one to thank. And all gifts, cards, monies should be sent in care of the Bruins Benders because I want a piece. Because I got on you about doing that.
You did.
So, I want a piece of that. So all monies and thank yous and cards and gifts. We can do some kind of a registry if you guys want, like the OnlyFans people. You can send us all kinds of things. Maybe pay Matt back for his ticket to the game.
Yeah.
And the $48 beers he had at
at Raptors. Yeah.
So, if you want to help us out for some of our expenses, that's certainly welcome. But you should be you'll go to heaven for that one.
Eulogized. Sure. Yeah, I'll tell you what. Cindy DeBrusque knows because she's been liking our tweets.
She has,
and mom knows what I've done, and I appreciate that she has passively reached out and given us a sign.
Yeah, she's given us a sign that she's listening and she likes what we're doing. She likes what we're doing for Jake and for the team. 100%.
Yeah, we have a lot of family members of
We
Bruins
do.
players
Yeah.
who follow our stuff and tweet and like our stuff and stuff. And
Yeah.
it's nice. It's really cool,
It is.
actually.
Yeah.
All right. Chirp number 5. James Van Riemsdyk, sneaky underrated signing, 25 points in his first 34 games with Boston, 7-18 for 25 as a Bruin, fastest to do it since Mark Savard did it in 19 games in the 06-07 season. So JVR, actually, I saw a stat where he is second among best bang for the buck in the league with like 40,000, the $40,000 per point or 400. I don't know. It's some astronomical.
Yeah, he's currently offering the second best value in the league in terms of cost per point at 40,000 per point.
Yeah.
And that's all NHL contracts, standard NHL contracts, with which do not include entry level deals. So like Connor Bedard contract.
Right. Yeah. So it would be standard contracts. Right?
Standard contracts.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, he's been unbelievable. I mean, you couldn't really ask for anything more. He's given you exactly what you have hoped as far as net front presence goes. But then, 18 assists. I mean, that's ridiculous.
I know that's ridiculous. Yeah.
Somebody tweeted to us that he's on pace for more than 50 points, and it would be the first time in more than 6 years that he's had 50 points in a season. So he seems kind of rejuvenated here, playing for a Bruins team that's a contender. Mm-hmm. And he's really been a great addition to the team.
Well, he's always been a Bruin type of player. Like you could see a fit with him.
Yeah.
All those years. I mean, went to UNH. He's kind of a bigger scoring forward type, grinder type, in the front of the net, greasy goal type guy. Like you knew that he would be a good Bruin. I just didn't think it would be at this point in his career. Like I thought he'd score a few power play goals, probably. He'd be in and out of the lineup. Who knows if he would have any longevity for this season. It's a 1-year deal. I didn't expect anything. I thought he might score 10 to a dozen goals, maybe, most on the power play.
Yeah, I thought the
type
same
of thing. But now, Jesus, I mean, he's been really, really good. Well, we're just hopeful that he can maintain enough gas throughout the season and into the playoffs to continue on. And he had a load management kind of night the other night.
Sure.
And I'd look to keep doing that with him,
just
kind of manage his time, as he's getting older and up in his career there. But JVR's been really, really good. And I've always liked the guy. Like I've always liked the player. Like he's always been kind of a thorn in the Bruins side.
Yeah.
He's always been a guy who's on the score sheet kind of guy. Like, so I've always kind of liked him. And I kind of liked the signing at the time. I just didn't have a ton of high expectation. I just thought it was a nice low risk, low reward, type of thing.
Yeah, and I think his passing is really underrated. Like
that sauce to Frederick was dynamite.
It was unbelievable. Yeah. Like he has really good vision and can really pass the puck, which I didn't realize from not watching him all the time. But he's a much better passer than I realized.
Yeah.
So let me put you on the spot real quick before you move on, because I want to hear your guys' opinion on this. With his contract being so good and the production he's putting up, if the Bruins were offered a first-round pick, should they move on him for that first-round pick?
Yeah. I would. For a first-round pick, absolutely. Like, I would. I mean, it's still a 1-year deal. You probably...
Assuming you have to maybe even retain on the small contract.
I mean, I guess you might sign him next year at another low-cost thing, but you don't have to. So I would take the first-round pick if it was offered to me, 100%. I would, especially in their situation.
He won't. He won't.
He won't.
No,
he won't take a guy off the roster.
No, the Bruins have the best record in the NHL right now. They're trying to make a cup run. They want the playoff dates. They're not going to do anything to jeopardize that, even if it means losing out on a first round pick on a guy that's basically a rental. They won't do it. You won't do it.
I would 100% do it. It would be risky, but I would because of the situation they're in without a first round pick for the next couple of years or whatever it is. I mean, they don't have a first, second, or third round pick in 25, I think it is.
Yeah.
So they're really struggling with the high picks coming up here. And I would do it for that. I would. And then I would, yeah, I would try to like hell to replace it, which you can't be that hard to replace. I mean, let's not act like he's, Luke Robitaille. Like
Right.
he's had a nice year for them, but for a first round pick with the problems that they have with high draft picks right now and the lack of, I would.
Yeah.
First round, like the second, third, no. First round, yes, I would do it. So there it is. Trap number
There you
6. Charlie McAvoy seems to have calmed down his crazy all-out attack and is playing more within himself. And his defensive game has returned. And lo and behold, the Bruins have been a better defensive team.
Yeah.
See how that works?
Yeah. He's not up the ice all the time, elbowing guys in the head. Now he's playing a little bit more sound defensively. He's not jumping up as much as he was, which isn't leading to as many odd man rushes against. And surprise, like you said, the Bruins are being better defensively, and he can still pick his spots. Like he still needs to do that. But I think his bread and butter, is defense. As much as everybody says, he's a Norris guy and he can, be in that conversation. He's not Cale Makar. He's not Adam Fox.
No.
He is a defensive guy first who can put up some good offensive numbers and has, good skating ability and really good vision and can really shoot the puck when he decides he wants to. But he needs to get back to being the shutdown defensive guy that's hard to play against and then pick his spots offensively. And if he doesn't win a Norris, he doesn't win a Norris. But, he needs to be that shutdown defensive guy in order for the Bruins to be the team that they want to be and defensively, where they need to be.
Without question, I think that the emergence of Brandon Carlo has really helped McAvoy. I mean, you could play Carlo 22, 23, 24 minutes on any given night. You can. So that helps McAvoy a ton. It really does. And then chirp number 7, Bruins much needed reset during the Christmas break seems to have worked. 4-0 out of the break. And they've seemed to found their game more. And now with this stretch coming up here, they're in first in the Atlantic. It looked like they were starting to slip a bit. You were like, oh boy, here we go. But now past the first of the year mark, I mean, they're definitely headed for a really, high seed and a good spot in the playoff race here.
Yeah, I think so. And I think maybe it was all they needed. They did seem like really tired and kind of emotionally drained there the last couple of games before the Christmas break. And you hadn't really seen that adversity. This team faced that type of adversity in the last couple of years. I mean, last year they just fucking blitzed through everyone and didn't really have any kind of adversity all season long until it got to the playoffs. And then they didn't really know how to handle it.
Right.
So it might be in the long run, not a bad thing that they faced a little bit of adversity, the first long losing streak in a few years and had to battle through some stuff and kind of come out on the other end and kind of find themselves and find their game. And they turned it around, which is, a good thing to see.
Yeah, for sure. And now with Matt Poitras coming back, he's back in Boston now, and he won't be there for the first game back, but they'll reevaluate it, I guess, and they can slide him in and out here and there again, and we'll see what happens with Poitras as the year goes on. It's going to be an interesting development. He had an okay junior, and he seemed to be running out of a little bit of gas here. I don't know if this will revitalize him. I don't know. I don't know if it's going to add to his fatigue. It could, with travel and all that thing and emotion and everything that goes into that. Maybe they give him a week off or two. Who knows? But it'll be interesting to see how Poitras responds. Okay, New Year's resolutions for the Bruins. I'm going to say staying out of the box more.
Oh, you stole mine. That was Stay out of the goddamn penalty. I know the officiating is terrible. Okay, right. I know it. And a lot of them are bullshit ticky-tack calls, but they have to lead the league in like hooks and holds and
Yeah.
trips, all kinds of
Hooks and
like
holds and stick infractions.
like the
Yeah.
stick fouls are
Yeah.
terrible.
They are.
So just cut that shit out. I
Yeah.
mean, I know their penalty kill is great, but it's slipped a little bit because they're taking so many damn penalties.
Yeah, they are.
You can't be the best penalty killing team in the league if you're just on the PK all the time. Like it just doesn't. Eventually, it's going to wear those guys out. The guys that like not everyone penalty kills. So the guys that have to kill penalties all night long are going to get worn down, and you don't want that. You know, those are hard minutes. You know, you could be stuck in your own zone for a minute and a half or 2 minutes. Right. So, you know, you need to be able to kind of give those guys a little bit of a breather and stay out of the box some nights and, you know, let the power play and some other guys, you know, go to work.
Yeah. And then a guy like Pasternak doesn't play for 6, 8, 10 minutes, depending on how many penalties you have. Like and I think a lot of the stick infractions are because their sticks are very active. I was watching, you know, just watching the game live is different because you tend to focus in on a lot more things. And I focused in on like they get their sticks on every fucking like their Bruins get their sticks on everything. Like they deflect everything. They poke check. They get the stick on the puck all the time. Sticks in the right position. They deflect pucks into the crowd. Like they do it as well as anyone in the league. Like their sticks are so active and they connect with the puck like constantly. Like it's unbelievable what they do with their sticks, particularly the defenseman. Like Carlo gets a stick on every goddamn thing, like everything near him, he gets a stick on it, and they do it as well as anyone. And I think with the active sticks, you get a lot of hooks and trips and that type of thing too. And I'd like to see them be more disciplined. And they were against Detroit. I'm sorry, it was Columbus, rather, the last game. They were more physical against Detroit and Columbus. And against Columbus, there was less penalties. It was less in the box. It was more legal physicality, we'll call it.
Well, then it's also like the ticky-tackness. Like you got to wonder like what the referees are going to call, because Brick during one of the telecasts is like the first penalty of the game should set a threshold. Yeah. And the first penalty of the game should not be, you know, a little chop on the stick that the guy, you know, whatever. I mean, if it's a blatant scoring chance, sure. But like, some of these calls that people are making are like in the neutral zone or don't have any effect on the play.
Yeah,
and
don't call
you're going to call for the first penalty of the game or whatever. Yeah. Like Lindholm was tripped by a skate in the Detroit game, I believe, and the puck hit the boards. He gets tripped. It bounces right back on the slot. He could have made a play on that puck, but couldn't because he was tripped.
Right
to the guy, and the guy scores.
Right.
That's the type of play that maybe you do want to call a penalty on.
Call that. Right.
So the officiating really plays a role in that too. But I will say my New Year's resolution is going to be for the Bruins to get out of the first round of the playoffs.
Hey, that's a great one.
Let's go.
Hey, let's try it. Let's do it. Let's not play Detroit.
Yeah.
And let's get out of the first round.
Let's get out of the first
Detroit
round.
scares the shit out of me.
Yeah.
I don't know who they're going to play, but yes, let's get out of the first round this time for the Boston Bruins. All right, DraftKings Sportsbook is Boston's hometown sportsbook, and it's live right here in Massachusetts. Bet local on all your favorite sports from the comfort of your own home with DraftKings. To celebrate, all new customers will receive up to $200 in bonus bets when you sign up for DraftKings Sportsbook using code ITR. You can now bet local on money spreads, money lines, spreads, props, and more with one of America's top-rated sportsbooks. That's DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Sign up with the code ITR and get up to $200 in bonus bets to use. Now that mobile sports betting is live in Massachusetts, so that's code ITR only at DraftKings Sportsbook.
If you or a loved one is experiencing problems with gambling, call 800-327-5050 or visit helplinema.org to speak with a trained specialist, free and confidentially 24/7. 21 plus, physically present in Mass. Eligibility restrictions apply, subject to regulatory licensing requirements. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply. Opt-in required. Bonus issued are free bets. Terms at DraftKings.com/MA.
All right, it's time for He's a Beauty. And it's James Van Riemsdyk. We got to get the tubes on here.
Yeah, we do.
James Van Riemsdyk is our beauty.
Who's lovable.
Yeah, he's lovable as all hell right now. I mean,
Sure he
people are
is.
just eating him up alive. 7 goals, 18 assists in 34 games played. He's a +5. And JVR has been a great under the radar. Could be. There was talk all over X this last couple of days. Is he the top signing in the offseason?
Yeah, it could be. I mean,
he's
Price
up there.
says yes, probably.
Yeah.
And he's also, I think, a very worthy candidate for the 7th Player Award.
Oh, yes, sir.
Got to be in on that son of a bitch too, right?
Yeah. Who do you think? I think Freddie might get it just because has such this cult following.
Sure.
And he's the type of player he is. Like everybody loves Freddie, like kind of thing. So he probably will, but JVR should. He really
JVR,
should.
Yeah, 100% is in the conversation. You know, if Freddie goes off and has like 25 goals or some shit, he should win it.
Right. Sure.
And he may. Who knows?
Right.
I hope he does. But I mean, him, Freddie, JVR, Shattenkirk, I think even
Shattenkirk's
throw into the mix. He's got 3 goals in his last 4 games or something like that, or something like that. Yeah. So he's got 5 goals, I think, on the season.
Yeah,
so
he's been really good. Shattenkirk's been really good.
He has been, and he has a poise back there that comes with his experience that I think they need. You know, sometimes things get a little out of hand and they're kind of scrambly and running around, and he seems to have a pretty good poise where he just, he'll flip it out or, off the glass, or hold it an extra second to make a play to get it out of the zone. So he's just been a real calm, steadying kind of presence back there, and he's been really good for them.
Yeah, Shattenkirk was, he was a really good player at his peak. Like he was a really good defenseman in the league. Like he was, legit, a legit defenseman. And another guy, both of those guys at the ages they are in their mid-30s, like on 1-year deals, were just really good, savvy moves by Sweeney. And Shattenkirk's played 921 games in his career. He was a top 20 defenseman for a while in the league. I mean, he was in Norris voting. He was top 20 5 different times.
Yeah,
he's legit.
Yeah. So it was a nice signing. I liked it at the time, and he seems to have been kind of coming into his own here in the last few weeks.
Yeah.
So our benders, plural, this week are the Detroit Red Wings.
I'm a bender.
I don't know if I've seen a cast of flopping phonies more than this Red Wings team more than the late 90s, early 2000s Canadiens teams. These guys died all over the ice.
Yeah.
Like they were killed. Like they just flop everywhere.
Yeah.
Dylan
This
Larkin.
is like the Ribeiro Kostitsyn brother kind of Montreal Canadiens.
Yeah. And Laperriere.
Ian Laperriere.
Yeah.
Thomas Plekanec.
Those guys. Subban, just like diving. I've never seen, like, anytime one of them gets hit, like they fall down. Like Michael Rasmussen is like what, 6'6", 6'7".
Yeah, he's huge.
6'5", he's huge.
Yeah.
And he'll go down as easy as anyone if he feels a little contact.
Yeah.
And Dylan Larkin did it the other day, got a penalty. They called McAvoy.
How about that little jump through the legs?
Yeah. He jumped over his leg to avoid getting hit.
Right.
That's not a trip. If a guy is jumping out of the way to avoid getting hit, and they get the calls. They got 6 against the Bruins in that game.
Yeah.
So, but I hate the way they play. I really do. Yeah. I hate the way they play.
Oh, how about them? And I love the McAvoy elementary school teacher scolding. Like he's over at Larkin and he's like, you were You were diving over. You do,
Yeah.
He did. He dove. He just friggin' catapulted right over the two legs. It
Yeah.
wasn't a trip at all.
No.
It's just ridiculous. Yeah, I mean the Red Wings. That's why I say like, I think it'd be a great series. Like, I
Yeah.
kind of want the series, but I don't because I don't want to lose to that Detroit Red Wings team.
No, I don't want to lose to that team.
I just don't like, but it would be quite a series. Like those two teams already don't like each other.
Yeah.
And it would be like the old Montreal series. I think it would be a really good, entertaining.
Yeah.
series.
I mean, they have some villains on that team. There's guys on that
Yeah.
team that I can't stand just from being around the league. Like David Perron, I hate.
Oh, Perron's a dick.
He is. I've never liked the guy. So they have guys on that team that I just can't stand already.
Right.
And then playing them in a full series and having to deal with it and watching them celebrate or, doing dinkish crap and having to deal with it and not, blowing a blood vessel in my head.
I know.
So it would be a good series. And but they definitely have some villains on that team already.
They do. All right. Centennial season spotlight. Hey, how about Terry O'Reilly? Terry O'Reilly is one of those guys that, puts up a bunch of points and fought a lot and so forth. But I don't know if there's a more overrated Bruin in the world than Terrence O'Reilly.
Well, yeah. I mean, he has.
I never really cared at all about the guy.
Goals.
Yeah, he did. I mean, he did. But he fought. You remember Chris Nyland was on with us. He almost killed Chris Nyland one night because he didn't know he was left-handed.
Yeah.
Like, so that I mean, he could fight and he was tough and he was a big bad Bruin kind of player and all that stuff. But just kind of a plugger player. Like, I mean, I know he had stats that are probably better than anybody thinks. But
I mean, I agree with you to a certain degree. Like, he's beloved, obviously, here because of the fighting and the going into the stands and that whole thing, the penalty minutes and all the toughness and all that, and deservedly so. I mean, it takes a special guy to spend that much time in the league and spend your time
to beat a guy in his stands with his skates on.
Yeah, I mean, just be a fighter in the NHL takes you got to give those. Whether you like the guy or not, you got to give him respect.
Imagine?
That's how you earn your living every day, is having to go up against some of the toughest guys in the league and fight them bare knuckled. I mean, I know it. It's amazing toughness, and
it is.
It's only in hockey can that be what it is. But
right,
I kind of tend to agree with you. Maybe not to your degree. Right. But he was never one of my favorite guys on the team.
No, he wasn't. That's probably what it is. Like, that's probably what it is. Like, he was a nothing guy for me. Like, I didn't really have any type of feeling for him.
Like, to me, it was like it was Bork or Middleton or I like Park and whatever. Like, whoever Peterson was So like, I had other guys on the team that I cared more about than O'Reilly. Right. So I liked O'Reilly, but he wasn't. To me, he wasn't one of the guys that I tuned in to watch or anything.
No, no, and I didn't either. And that's kind of, I guess that's kind of where I am with it. I just, but hey, he did put up a lot of points and a lot of fights, and I remember when asking Chris Nyland about, like, what does it feel like when you're going to go into a game and you're going to fight someone? Like, you're gonna like, what is it? Do you get like nervous Christmas belly when you're gonna go fight someone? Like, you're gonna fight, if bare knuckle fight a guy, street fight a guy at center ice. Like, is that like when you get in a line brawl? Is it like weird? Everybody's fighting. Like, everybody is bare knuckle fighting.
Yeah,
it's like slap shot. Like, it's what the hell? Like, it's just crazy to me. It's almost barbaric.
Yeah,
but hey, it was fun. Anyway. Providence Bruins beauty of the week. Georgi Merkulov got the call up. He's the AHL player of the month for December with 8 goals, 10 assists for 18 points in 12 games. Nobody harder in the Bruins organization than Georgi, and he earns the call up to the Bruins. Made his debut on 12/30 against the Devils, and what do they do in true Bruins fashion? They put him on the fourth line.
Put him on the fourth line and sit him for for,
Yeah.
for large sections of the third
Right.
period.
Sure. Yeah.
Even though they complimented his 200-foot game.
Right.
Your 200-foot game, Georgie, is not enough, not good enough to play in the third period.
At
They
all.
did put him back out there when they got the 3-goal lead.
3-goal
But
lead, yeah.
yeah, but I mean, he 18 points in 12 games is nothing to sneeze at. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't care
he's a
what
good
league you're in.
offensive player.
I don't care if you're playing in the street hockey league down in Hingham. 18
Right.
points in 12 games is good.
Yeah, it's good.
So you know, good for him that he gets the call up, and he hasn't really found the score sheet yet. So might be a case of, you know, the same type of thing with Mason Lohrei is like, you know, maybe he goes back down, you know, put some more time in, and then the next time he gets back up, the game kind of slows down for him a little bit, and he's able to make some plays and do some things the next time he gets called up.
Look, here's the thing I always have a problem with these guys. There's certain guys, they did this with Ryan Donato too when he was up. Like, there's certain players that have a makeup. Jack Studnicka is another example. Like, there's certain guys that have a certain makeup. They're either top six makeup as a player, not necessarily worthy of playing top 6 minutes, but they're top 6 makeup guys. And then there's bottom 6 makeup guys. And Merkulov is a top 6 makeup player. So when you put him in the fourth line with Jacob Lauko and Oscar Steen, you know, kicking the puck around, like, he's not going to produce. Like, of course he's not. So then people say, well, Jesus, he's not producing. I mean, this guy isn't as good as we thought he was. Well, you're putting him with guys who aren't going to score goals.
Yeah, like, you're putting him in a position
production.
to not succeed.
Right, to not succeed. So you can't just plug a guy in and be like, okay, play in the fourth line. No, because he's not that type of player. His game is about offensive production. Do you want him to be a better 200-foot player? Yes. Has he been? Yes. So, but he's the 200-foot player he's going to be. Like, he's not going to be Patrice Bergeron.
No.
Like, this is who he is, 200-foot. Like, this is it. So now it's about offensive production. So put him in the top 6 and just let him play there, and play Charlie Coyle as a third line center. Give him 5 games, and if he sucks, send him down. Yeah, like that. I don't get it. Like, you're not giving him a full chance. It's a phony chance in my opinion.
I agree with you. You know, if you're gonna call him up and you want him to succeed, you got to put him with guys that are going to allow that to happen. Right. You know, give him a Pasternak on the wing or a Marchand on the wing, and see what happens with some of those guys. Can they develop something? You know, can you have a little chemistry and you know, maybe light a little spark? I mean, they needed a spark before before he got called up. They were struggling to score goals for a while there. They called him up and they started to score, but it was other guys. It wasn't him.
Right.
But, you know, at the time, they kind of needed a spark. So if you're going to call the guy up, give him a chance. Let him.
You brought it off. If that's the case, just bring Farinacci up, and he'll play 12 minutes and do your 200-foot thing and play him in the fourth line center, and just do that. Like, why bring up Merkulov? Comes up, you needed offensive, you know, talent. He's an offensive talent person, so you bring him up, and then you give him, you know, fourth line minutes, and then sit him in the third period. Then just bring Farinacci up, who's probably a more mature game to him. He's not going to put many offensive points up in the NHL. Probably he's not going to be Merkulov offensively, but just bring him up instead. And just put him in the fourth line, and it's not as big a deal. Like, I don't like the way it's handled. Like, are we really giving these kids a chance or not? And they already have a reputation of not giving kids chances. That's the other thing. Like, they already do. So now it almost seems like they've heard that message, and now we're gonna show that we want to, but we really don't want to commit.
I mean, it's because they do shit like this. That's why they have the reputation for it. If you're going to bring a kid up, put him in a position to succeed. You got to give him some wingers to play with, or if he's a winger, give him a center to play. You have to put him with talent in order for them to succeed. You can't just. I mean, people say you got to earn it. Well, that's like the chicken and the egg thing. How can he earn it if he's playing with Steen and Larko? Like, how many goals do those guys have?
What's he going to show you? Right.
You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
you know, put him with a guy who scores 60 goals, and then if he can't produce offensively, then you say, well, he can't produce.
Okay.
He can't. If he can't produce with Pasternak on the ice, then he can't produce.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
100%.
give him a chance
Yeah.
before before you label him a bust or something.
Yeah. That's what I don't love about it. But whatever. All right, prospect spotlight. How about Dan's Luck Mellis? I mean, Dan's was a 4th-round pick going to UMass
Mhm.
Amherst, and Luck Mellis had a really nice showing in the World Junior Championships.
He did in the quarterfinal game against Team USA. They got absolutely buckled.
Yeah,
He scored a couple of goals, a couple of pretty nice goals.
he did.
And he had a hit that probably should have been a major penalty. It wasn't. They only gave him a 2-minute minor for boarding, but it probably should have been more than that. So he's got a little bit of feistiness to him too, which is good to see. And he has really good speed, which the Bruins could certainly use.
Yeah.
So all those things are positives for the Bruins.
Yeah, he was a captain of Latvia. 2
Yeah.
goals, 3 assists in 5 games. Like you said, had a good game against US. He has 4 goals and an assist in 12 games with UMass. He had a pretty good international. He had 4 goals in international play last season.
Mhm.
He was with Luleå in the Swedish league and had a really good season in 22-23 with 59 points. And he's really come on. Like, he's 6'1", he's 180 pounds, plays center. Like, he's a good 4th-round value, and he plays at a major conference team now in UMass and one of the better teams programs in the country. And he'll get a lot of good experience playing against really good talent. And it's a guy that might actually show as a later round pick for them, which they need.
So. Yeah, I mean, they're going to need some of these later round picks to hit. So I think he can grow his game at UMass. Greg Carvel's a great coach, and has had a lot of great NHL players there. Cale Makar is one. So, they have some ability there, maybe to develop him and turn him into hopefully a really good prospect for the Bruins.
Yeah, it would behoove them.
It would behoove.
Week ahead for the Bruins on 1-4 tomorrow versus the Pittsburgh Penguins at home, and then on January 6th against the Tampa Bay Lightning. Then they go on the road on the 8th to Colorado, the next night to Arizona. So this is 4 teams they haven't really seen a lot of. And
it's going to be a tough stretch.
It is a tough, sneaky, tough stretch. It is. They've had some success against Pittsburgh at home. They've had a little bit of success at home against Tampa in the past. Colorado's always a tough matchup. They have a really talented team. And Arizona has some young talent this year. They have some young players that are pretty good, and they're better than they have been. So it is a tough one.
Yeah, I mean, their playoff bubble, that's the second night of a back-to-back with travel. So you got to leave Colorado and go out to Arizona, play the next day. So, that's kind of a scheduled loss there. Coming off a Colorado team, which, is towards the tops of their division. And, Tampa's no slouch. I believe Kucherov leads the league in points right now. Yeah. So, it's a tough little stretch here for the Bruins. So it'll be interesting to see how they do here in the next handful of games.
Any New Year's resolutions for you?
No, I don't believe in any of that shit. Because
I don't believe in bettering my life.
No, I mean, because I'll say, I'd like to, lose a few pounds, but by now by the 3rd of January, that's out the window.
Yeah, you're already burying Oreos.
I'm eating cheesecake and burying Oreos, and so I mean, I try to live my life, straight and narrow all the time.
Straight and narrow. Yeah, straight and narrow. Straight. Yeah, straight. I mean, you're straight. Narrow is,
narrow is, I mean, it's a stretch. It is. Yeah. I actually had a doctor's appointment today, and I did lose a few pounds from last year when I went. So really? he said I was in tip-top health, and my blood pressure was, the nurse said I had very good numbers. Very good.
Really?
Yeah. I was like
Wow.
112 over 66 or something.
Jesus, that's really good. That's like that's what you want.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jesus. Any
I
lower,
mean,
you'd be
I am
dead.
the epitome of health right here.
Yeah, that's wow, good for you. Like
Yep.
I'm just jealous that you're on the once a year plan. Because I go to the doctor like 4 times a year now.
Oh,
Like Christ,
jeez.
they like fucking come and they
Yeah.
end up in my driveway if I don't get
They're
there.
like knocking at the
Yeah.
door of your house. They're like,
You're
"Oh,
right.
come on, Matt. Come
Yeah,
outside. It's time."
Jesus, yeah. Hey, yeah, it's time to check your blood pressure again.
Yeah.
But yeah, that good for you. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
good. I don't, and I think the resolutions are a little weird too. I mean, obviously you got to make lifestyle changes and stick to them. It's a gimmick,
Yeah.
and it pisses me off worst at the gym. Like when you have like a gym
yeah.
membership and you've been there a bit, and all of a sudden everybody comes charging in January 1st
Oh.
for $10 a month.
Right.
Like that pisses me off.
Yeah. And all the machines are full for a week, and then like a week and a half later, then you can use them all again.
Yeah, you can just
Do you know what you guys just worked through and didn't realize? What's the number one sponsor for the New Year's Eve TV broadcast?
Planet Fitness.
Yep.
Boom.
Look at us.
Yeah.
Boom.
Boom. Like that's absolutely. Or Orange Theory or one of those.
Yeah. Can Planet Fitness, throw us a bone? Can we get some kind of sponsorship for the Bruins Benders podcast?
10% off your order.
Free gym memberships for life, or one of those platinum cards, or what do they have? You can go to any Planet Fitness around the world.
Use the code FATTABALAD, and you can get 6% off your order.
Yeah, use the code FATASS. Use the code cheesecake to get to get all the bonuses.
Well, I'll tell you what. Go to InsideTheRink.com and get more information on that. And also some Bruins Benders merchandise, shirts, hoodies, hats, mugs, stickers, and more. Coasters, all sorts of stuff on there. Follow us on social media at Bruins Benders. We do the game updates on X. It's lots of fun. We get tons of interaction now. We love it, the engagement. Mm-hmm. We appreciate all you fine folks. Subscribe on all the platforms and also on YouTube. We'll see you again next time. Thanks a lot for listening. Go Bruins.
Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.